The problem of evil is none other in Shaivism than the problem of ignorance. This is quite apparent in the symbolism of the snake, that plays also a central role in the Shaiva disciplines, centered on the power of Kundalini. Kundalini is the revealing and concealing energy of Lord Shiva in the form of a snake. It is a latent energy that ranges from the very heart of Shiva, to its universal infinite power, to the life essence, prana, the vital breath that is like the fuel of tantric meditation. The snake in itself is not evil, but it can be, or may be, poisonous inasmuch as it remains an unconscious reality, lying dormant like a potentially threatening reservoir of power. However, when this energy is actualized and raises to the level of consciousness, it reveals its divine and transforming power. This is the secret of the Shaivite spiritual art of transmutation. While energy is intrinsically connected with being, and with the absolute that is pure being and pure consciousness, it must be known for what it is, in order not to become a source of distraction and benighted evil. Awakening here means that consciousness becomes aware of itself as Shiva's I consciousness, instead of being confused with the limitations of individual consciousness. Let me conclude and propose a few avenues of reflection, perhaps questions and discussion. From an existential point of view, there is no doubt that evil does exist. Nobody in his right mind would deny its existence. However, what mystical theology teaches us is that from a metaphysical point of view, evil has no reality. Evil has no reality of its own. Evil, in a sense, does not exist. This distinction coincides, that is the distinction between the existential point of view, where evil is a reality to reckon with, and the metaphysical level, in which evil has no substance of its own, therefore is not. This distinction coincides by and large with the Buddhist recognition of the two truths, that is the conventional truth and the unconditioned truth. Truth within terrestrial experience, within relative experience, and truth as it is in itself. The Buddhist perspective stems from the full recognition, that is, of the reality of evil and suffering. It is the starting point of Buddhism. So from the conventional point of view, there is evil, there is suffering, and that is actually the starting point of wisdom. The recognition of this reality of evil and suffering is the starting point of wisdom. But in the end, in the perfection of the Buddhist path, lies the realization of the unconditioned truth of the insubstantiality and non-reality of all phenomena, including evil and suffering, through the assimilation of the principle of universal codependent origination, which is none other than metaphysical relativity. So we have to propose that evil is the beginning, if you wish, of religion or wisdom or the path, but in the end, evil is revealed to be what it is, that is, non-existent, non-real. So according to the conventional starting point, evil is a reality to be reckoned with. In fact, it is the seed of any transformation toward the good. But ultimately, according to metaphysical reality in and of itself, there is no such thing as evil as a substance, as being. And this has very important existential and practical consequences, so to speak. Because it appears quite plainly that negating the existence of evil from an existential point of view would amount to delusion, hypocrisy, or arrogance. From an existential, conventional point of view, negating evil would be one of these three, or all three: delusion, hypocrisy, or arrogance. On the other hand, though, to negate the metaphysical inexistence of evil, or to affirm the metaphysical existence of evil, which amounts to the same, would amount, or does amount for mystical metaphysicians, to a failure to comprehend the nature of the absolutely real and its relationship with the world of relativity. Because from that point of view, there is only the real. There is only the Shiva consciousness. There is only Wujud. There is only Ein Sof. There is only the ultimate. There cannot be a second one. There's a one without a second. So from this metaphysical point of view, of course, evil has no reality. And this also, the failure to comprehend the nature of the absolutely real that lies in the affirmation of a substantial evil, as another negative consequence, is that it deprives one, as a way of existential consequence, from the only actual means to overcome evil in this world, which is to say, placing oneself under the protection, under the shield of the real, to use in Arabist terminology. And more fundamentally, the only means of overcoming evil is to identify with the unconditioned good through our transpersonal intelligence. And that's what the three kinds of mysticism teach, ultimately, that in order to overcome evil, you have to identify with the good that lies beyond good and evil. And how do you do that? Well, you do that through intellectual discernment, through the recognition of metaphysical reality, and through assimilation of this discernment through meditational and contemplative practices. So, for example, in the case of Ibn Arabi, in the case of Sufism, this identification with the good through transpersonal intelligence is nothing else than the deepest realization of the meaning of dhikrullah, remembrance of God, because remembrance of God is nothing else in its essence than the manifestation of the divine intellect in us. So that is the only way to overcome evil, to identify with the good that lies beyond the polarity of evil through affirmation of the good, through our intelligence, our will, and our being. Thank you for your attention.